Okay, so remember that the energy pyramid is just a food web in a triangle shape, like I was saying before the video cut off. So you have to describe the energy of the flow of energy in the energy pyramid. Okay, so remember these are producers. This is primary consumers. These are secondary. Okay, now notice that it kind of has two extra levels. This is definitely a tertiary. So really, I think they're showing us two secondaries and a primary. So honestly, the things above it usually eat the things below it. That's kind of what we think. So the energy, the flow of energy goes up. Remember, by what percentage? We talked about that earlier. We wrote it down. Remember, only 10% moves up. 90% is lost at each of the layers, okay, for life and living things. So describe the flow of energy. Flow of energy is moving up by 10%. Okay? Which of the following phases describe the term biodiversity? Remember biodiversity, we talked about this a lot last unit. We're going to talk about it again. Bio means what? Life. Diversity is variety. So variety of life. Okay. So we need to find the phrase that describes biodiversity. So A, the role of an organism within a community. B, the variety of species presence in an ecosystem. C, the type of environments in which organisms normally live. Or D, organisms that cannot manufacture its own food. Okay, so looking at those answer choices, what is telling you variety of life? Okay, this one specifically says variety in it of species. Species are living. So answer choice B should be our choice. Okay. So that was 13. We're going on to 14. So this question says which answer is showing the levels of organization from largest to smallest. Okay, so the important thing is to think about what was our largest thing and what was our smallest. So remember, the smallest, the thing we have to use a microscope to only see a part of, is a cell, right? So we're going to be looking for, and we went all the way, cells make up tissue. Tissue makes up organs. Organ makes up organ system. Organ systems make up organism. Okay? So that was kind of our thing. Organism is like you and me, we are the biggest. So when we're looking and it says cell is the biggest, I can cross that one out right away because cell is the smallest. So I'm looking for the one that shows me with cell being here over here in the smallest. So cell is over here and cell's here. So this one, H, I can definitely cross that one out because it's not going to be my answer choice either. So those two I can quickly determine are not the answer. Okay, so now I'm looking for, is it in the correct order? So cells make up tissue, tissue makes up organs, organs make up organ system, organism is the biggest. So our correct answer should be G. Okay, so that should be our correct answer for that one. Okay, when you come down to number 15, prairie versus tundra food web, compare and contrast. So they want you to compare and contrast. Okay, so if we are looking at this right here, I'm going to use my green highlighter to highlight the producers. So there's one producer here. Moss, grass, and lichen are all producers in there. So tundra has 3 producers. For tundra. The prairie one has 1 producer. Okay, so just thinking about that, which one's going to be more stable then? The one with 3 producers, right? So this one would be more stable. And what that means is if one of these plants dies for some reason, there are still other plants that are there to provide food. This is going to be less stable. Right? Alright, so the other thing we can look at is how many tertiaries we have. So this one, the tertiaries are going to be at the top, right? So tertiaries are things that are not eaten by anything else in the food web. So this one we got 2 in the prairie. In tundra we have 3 tertiaries. Okay, so you can definitely say something about that. 2 tertiaries in the prairie and 3 tertiaries in the tundra. Okay, which one has more biodiversity? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 organisms over here. Okay, over here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 organisms over here. Okay, so 12 organisms versus 10. So that's kind of my compare and contrast there. So this one's more stable, the tundra. The prairie is going to be less stable.